incessantly while he's out.
Okay, thank you for the reminder, Daniel. Okay.
Cool.
I hate this.
So we'll get started with our public agenda, or, yeah, our personal announcements, which I don't know if we have any. I don't know.
We have the fire department. Can everyone online hear us okay? No?
I can.
Okay, Alicia said she couldn't. Let me just see real quick.
Brian typed in he can too. So,
Are we still okay? Okay, yep, we're good.
okay, we're good now.
Okay, cool. Good.
Cool. So we'll have our fire department come up first and make their announcements. Sorry as I eat
Yeah.
and talk.
Sorry, we're dying here.
Cool, thank you. My name is Brad Withers with the fire department, obviously over Station 6 on Indiana, 8 South, I guess, technically. Just kind of the quick update that we have from our chief is, this last couple months, we've been redoing our strategic plan, we call it, kind of for the next 5 years, goals and things we want to go over.
Yeah. I have to find a minute. Someone's talking.
Serious, I'm gonna mute you.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we kind of outline we call it a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that we are aware of that may be coming up in the next 5 years. So this is 2025, 2029 is kind of the plan, the area that we've been analyzing and talking about. We've done this internally. We've met with our battalion chief and the whole department kind of talk about all these things that we are doing well, things that we need to do better. We're also soliciting community input. So we have this fancy QR code that I will leave with you guys. What he says, just to quote him, he says, "Your perspective as a resident of Salt Lake City is invaluable. By sharing your thoughts on the strengths and weaknesses of the SLCFD, as well as the opportunity or threats you may perceive, you will play a crucial role in helping us to develop a comprehensive and effective strategic plan. And your input will directly impact how we serve and protect our community." So I've checked the thing that I've done the link, it works, pulled up a form you can fill out, has several questions. Yeah, deadline to submit this is September 15th. So you got a few weeks to work on that. I will leave this with you guys just up here. So yeah, feel free to scan that and give us any input that you have. That's that as far as kind of the update for the month. We're also hiring right now, or we have a hiring process going on. So if you know anyone who's interested in joining the fire department as either a regular firefighter or as just a medical only paramedic, we have some paramedics who run on a special unit called a medical response team or SWAT. We may have seen them running around in like the little SUV. Kind of a newish program we've been working on. We're hired for those as well. So if you're interested, that's all. You can just go to our website, it's fire.com. There should be information regarding that. So that's kind of my update that we have. Does anyone have any questions? Anything I can talk to you guys about or answer any questions about whatever for the fire department?
Thank you. I think we're good.
Okay,
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Just as a reminder, we have subs from Subway up front, and we also have some donuts from the other side village and some water, so please help yourselves.
Mhm.
And up next is the police report.
Can you pull, Salt Lake City Police Department website?
I sure can.
You haven't ever had a computer that worked until right now. So we will just kind of look at this.
SLC PD.
Yep, slcpd.com.
Nope, maybe.
Yep.
There we
And
go.
then you'll, when it pops up, go to open data.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, sorry, I'm pointing here and.
No, you're good. Open data.
Yeah, go down to crime statistics.
Crime statistics right there. Okay.
Then go to over on this block on your left, you'll see like a key. And then just click community council.
Okay.
and then
Poplar
behind Poplar
Grove.
Road. So this is where, through all the community council meetings, this is where we've been getting our staff.
Okay, let
This is our
me.
comp staff. In the last, I'd say 6 months, they finally got it broken down into community councils.
Let me just real quick, get that shared for our folks on Zoom, just a moment.
Sweet.
Okay, yeah, there we go. No, not that one, okay, there we go.
All right, so these are our numbers. Well, first, are there any questions, concerns, anything you're seeing in the neighborhood that we should be aware of, then we'll start looking at it. We can answer questions also. So if you have a question that comes up, yes.
Hi, it's me always. So we have a lot of cars on 9th West, and it's not just in front of my spot. There's like a couple also in front of that apartment complex that are just kind of like everybody has their hoods up, and everybody's working on cars, nobody has license plates.
Yeah.
Like, what's the best approach besides like parking compliance?
Compliance, parking enforcement and compliance. They're the ones that enforce all of the maintenance on the sidewalk or on the roadway and parking enforcement.
Okay,
So they're under the same, I don't know. department. So it's just a department. So it's all the compliance office.
You're talking about on the Rappahannock Avenue, 9th West,
yeah, it's one of the spots.
yeah.
Yeah.
That has been an illegal repair shop.
Yeah, the
He's
one,
got 3 campers in the back, and he's had as many as 15 vehicles there.
Yeah, so that's definitely a zoning compliance issue. They'll enforce them. So just if you call them.
He's parked up there right in front of my house and that, and down the alley. And when I come home, I just call tow trucks.
Hey, if that works. Yeah, it works
also, I've called a tow truck and had one of their cars towed away.
That's perfect. It is illegal to do any maintenance out on the road, so yeah, we can get that. Especially when it starts putting oil under the storm drains and stuff like that.
Right,
Then you have.
and that's because he does oil changes, antifreeze changes.
Well, and that's where, like, I know that it's sort of up to us to sort of also call in, but like, you would think that the police department it's a pretty busy street where I see a lot of cop cars would like pull over and kind of give a warning or a stern talking to, right? Like a little bit more, like maybe have like a less reactive police force and more of like a proactive police
We
force
would absolutely,
when it comes to like that
Yes.
stuff.
we would absolutely love that. Just unfortunately, our numbers are just to the point where the on-duty officers are going from call to call. You'll see some agencies that will have 1 or 2 calls a shift. We have 23 calls a shift per officer plus. So we are going nonstop, but if there's a call for it, it's not considered a priority. So they may come out on it, they may call on it. It just may be some other way of enforcing it. But yes, I would love to see beats again and where we have our officers in the beat and they know the different locations, they know where the parking problems are. I would love that. And I think we're eventually gonna get there. Yes, Jason.
I had an issue this morning in Poplar.
Have you seen any bike officers in there since you sent me that text? Okay, good to know.
I ran into people. I
Mhm.
told them about negative. So, and a couple nights ago, and they came out, screaming at people to get out. And they got. So this one we've all swapped phones. And we're gonna start doing our own PC. Drugs. Now look at it. If he died because of some fentanyl. I just absolutely left it happen. For America. You're not doing anything. I don't death and over that.
Well, we don't want to go that far, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, just go across the park.
Oh, I completely understand.
So all I do is work fixing the yard.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna. So nobody knows and definitely know what we'll do. That's something. So I'm doing that. I'm picking up some new guns. I'm Policing that.
So here's, and I recommend 100%, it's like a neighborhood watch. Neighborhood watch programs are good.
No,
Um,
that's just a bunch of bubbles. I have a list. This is almost. Goes on and on, spoke for them here on camera. It's not. Anything about this. Don't, not doing anything about it. It's not. Homes.
I agree.
Okay.
We do have a drug problem on the west side,
We've got to cover.
actually across the whole city.
Yeah, so I have a solution for this. And I'm gonna hang my hat on building a camp west of the airport. Saying you can live in this camp tonight. You can come in Ocean One. There will be facilities for you. You can make it so they have a possibility now. Whatever. They can't sleep anywhere they want. They can't do drugs in our property. This has to change. It's very simple. I called the governor's office 4 times to ask for the National Guard, to police the river. No call. So that guy's useless.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool for him to send 200 troops to Texas to look on the national news. But it's not cool for him to police living in his own city where he lives.
So the political side, I can't talk about.
I'm just saying.
So
Any help from the police, not the National Guard, not the governor's office, not the mayor's office, no will help. So I'm going to take it on myself to do it, and it's gonna get gnarly.
okay, so just beware that arrests are happening daily.
That's fine.
Arrests are happening. It's just they're out. The criminal justice system's broken, and I'm not gonna.
Oh, yeah, the judges.
So
And Jason, like, as someone who has been very vocal about the drug problem that's been happening in our neighborhood,
right next door.
we're literally right next door with my meth house and having the death and everything else. I completely understand your frustration. My heart does go out to you and your family, especially because of your son. I can't take my dog outside, right? Like, so I totally understand, and I hope that you understand that, like, the legal system is super slow, and they are super gunked up right now, trying to clear out North Temple and around Fair Park, and you have downtown, and like the numbers of the police force, it is a lot smaller. I mean, you only have so much funding that can go so far, and it's just like we're spread so thin. And I mean, one of the things that at least that helped me, so right, my neighbors are getting evicted. It took 3 years, a lot of screaming at the police, a lot of screaming at Aaron Mendenhall, and a lot of screaming at Alejandro Pui, and a lot of screaming at everybody that would listen to me. And really, it sucks because, like, it's just because they have no rules or restrictions, they can get away with really a lot at a much faster rate, whereas we have to sort of wait for the wheels of the government and the correct systems and procedures to take place.
So I asked about police today, in my front door. I said, what, I was told by an officer that she had arrested someone with 80 pills and all in his pocket, went to jail without calling one. Then that night, comes back. And I said, okay, great. If I get caught beating people out of because you're gonna get into a brawl, and I get picked up this, what's the turnaround for me? And that's a shit.
Yeah.
So probably, that's a small price to pay, to forcibly remove them. Right? So big deal. I'm at that. You need to go to jail.
And
I get it.
And while I
Trust
get
me, I
it,
get it.
Jason, but you're also not setting a good example for your son, and it super sucks because we live in this really difficult scenario where the only solution that I can give to you as someone who has been literally living with this for 3 years, right next door, we had a death next door from an overdose from fentanyl. It's just, you gotta keep calling the police. You gotta call the police department, you gotta call parking enforcement, you gotta call civil enforcement, and you have to call the health department. You
Parks.
literally have to do
Throw parks
that
in that too.
entire gamut every single fucking day. Sorry for my language. And it sucks, and it's super shitty to say, but you have to, like, basically gunk it up, because basically what happens is it becomes a number and becomes a stat in their computer. And then basically, as a certain location heats up, they start sending more and more officers and more people to that location.
Jay, I've been telling you for years, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So
Now it's just falling off.
Parks should be coming through there every day to clean it. We should be coming through at least to check it. I pushed that through our bike squad. Our bike squad right now is really heavy busy on, North Temple. So that's the number one area in the state right now for drugs is on North Temple and.
Yeah, but that drug from North Temple is being forced.
Oh, absolutely. It's getting forced throughout the city. I'm not gonna, yeah,
You know?
Yep.
If they get caught with drugs, then make it penalty harsh.
I agree with you. So not a couple years ago, they did decrease the crime for having any drugs on a park by a school, by a church. So they decreased it where we could enhance it before. We can't enhance anymore. So it's just, it's hard.
Yeah.
So people like us in the community end up suffering while we have kids and our grandkids over.
I get it. It sucks for me to arrest someone and see them out the next day and arrest them again.
Yeah.
And see them out the next day and arrest them again. And they have 15 arrests for the same thing at the same location. I get it.
It's pretty bad. When I had the US citizen, I had to wear a sidewalk to protect my property. Keep them out of my yards and out of the alleys.
And I'm just gonna echo what was said. Continue to call. You have to continue to call.
But we don't get any results.
The call still,
In that,
no, if they're laughing at dispatch, then there needs to be some communication between police and dispatch. Okay, we don't run dispatch. Fire doesn't run dispatch. It all goes through a dispatch center. So if they're laughing at you, there's something you need to tell me, because we're gonna make some changes there. Okay, I recommend you get a case number. As soon as you call, first thing you say is, I need a case number. You get that case number, it starts to track it, I can track it. But if you don't have a case number, it's hard to get a call log through the queue or through the CAD system.
my truck got hit last year on the front end, and $3,000 for the damage. I caught on video, he hit my car, or he hit my truck and took off, left his license plate. I called the cops on it. I don't even know what they told me, oh, we can't do anything about it.
That's
I
what,
said, I can do it on video.
do you have a case number? Because
I can give you a case.
no, I need a case number. I will look at that. If there's a license plate on scene that's a hit and run, that's through they'll investigate that until, tell what is it. You want to say it's there. So we will investigate that. Absolutely. There's something we can do on everything. Yes.
Yeah, all this talk of guns is a bit disturbing to me. Having this is fine, we can't have no problem with any of that. I own so many guns, I just next. But so the thing is that if you brandish a gun statistically, tell me if I'm wrong, you are 10 times more likely to either shot yourself by another person likely, or you would shoot somebody else unintentionally than if you didn't brandish that gun.
I don't know what the statistics.
I do. So it goes up and down, when you multiply that by, 10x more guns per American than anywhere else in the world. Then, that kind of stuff just causes problems.
Did you guys get it solved? No, I get it, yeah. We're taught in the academy that no matter what call we go to, whether it's the simplest call or the most, dangerous call, it's probably the gun. If it's the one that's on our hip, so we have to be aware whenever we go to it, so yes.
Police need help. Our neighbors need help. This argument, you mentioned something on the side. I have to go to the city council. Said this is. That's the main point golf course up there. It's vacant. Screens outside, it's surrounded by water. You got a police station right next door. You could have created a space for those people to get them out of here. And people would have created a dump all over the Jordan River Trail on the west side. You could have rules, behavioral modification. Politicians, our city councilman, our mayor.
That's all way above.
Yeah, use me as an example.
Police need help.
All right, come on, buddy.
Don't
It's
count
time.
on- Don't count on the city councilman. Don't count on any of those people that he used to be here at our community council. I don't know what he's doing.
the political side, I can't talk to
I
anyone.
know, that's why you guys need to, the politicians don't do it, because they're interested in all this stuff. The mayor's interested in this fantasy land, the other side of it, which is gonna cost a huge fortune, which isn't gonna do anything to solve the homeless problem, the drug addiction problem, because she's it was a fantasy world, and she's spending money, you know,
And I'm gonna interject here and I'm gonna go, look, trust me again, I understand all of our grievances. And it's not really conducive. Detective Oliver can't really change anything directly, right? Like he only has so much room for power of change that he can sort of conduct. This is one of those things where as a community, right, especially as a community council, you can come here, we can come together and we can sort of strategize and formulate a plan of attack on how we can reach out to the resources that can make these changes. Because there are outlets, and if enough of us sort of come together, right? Like if us individually are doing it, obviously doesn't work, and trust me, as Jason and I could literally attest to, it doesn't work. You just have to constantly badger. This sounds like a really good moment for us to sort of put a pin in it, and maybe we hold like a special session as a community where we just tackle this one issue where we can all come together and kind of strategize and then really, get sort of like a person to sort of be the forefront of this. And then we can write some letters. We can sit down with Alejandro and whoever else, and we can sort of pass this on. Don't even get me started. That is a whole exact. Sorry, intern, if you're in here.
Passionate about issues,
Yeah.
I try to go to the city council, and I try to call politicians, and, there's no response. Because
Yeah, that'd be perfect. No.
Let me see.
Yeah, hold on, Jason, because I didn't call on it.
Truth is, and I think you need, whenever there's a problem, everyone throws it on the police. They're not trained in all that stuff. I had something, I had been going over speeding one night west. Someone that was greasing up streets with public work, put these cones out. By my, I just put a brand new mirror. Because, but when it happened, like that, everything like that with the police, they said, they really do. But they're there. I think the problem I have over 25 years working for a city is the truth. Anytime you start building like we are, you start adding more people to the mix, then you got more problems. Are they beefing up the police department? No. Are they so? My problem was my road on 90 West, if you're talking, it's 30 miles an hour. To see someone go 30 miles. It'd be nice to get one of those. It's bigger than you guys will do. Please do it. It's just that it's huge. We're just. So they're getting the revenue. But are they giving it? Who are they giving the revenue? And $14 billion.
And I'm gonna put a pin on this, and we're gonna have to just move the kind of meeting along.
But I do have stats.
Yeah, and.
Okay.
Okay, so really quick, Andrew Johnson, who used to come to these meetings, who deals with the unsheltered population, said that he can come and speak to us as a community if we want to have a meeting, or at our next meeting, we can come and actually we can have a portion of our meeting sort of carved out to really discuss and tackle this. Because right now, kind of like what was said, right, we all keep adding on to it. We can be here for the next 4 hours. And I have been working all day and I would love to go see my dog. So.
Add into that. The truth is, I was in the planning for a while. They can track this stuff. Is there any data on homeless? It's huge. They're saying they're doing all this stuff. Realistically, what is this? Are they even tracking? Yeah.
That is a great thing to discuss when we have that dedicated meeting or that dedicated.
So we're gonna wrap up the police section here just because
Yeah.
If you want, slcpd.com, you can check on specific areas of the city, for stats. well, for stats for crime. So, you can check anywhere,
We,
and that's gets updated every month, so.
we have a link to the crime statistics staff.
Yeah,
board.
yes, you again.
So, yes, thank you, Detective Oliver.
No, you're not. You're staying forever. I'm sorry, my boss told me I had to wrap it up.
Okay,
Definitely Daniel.
do we have anyone from the state representatives?
Yeah, state reps, Angela Romero or Sandra Hollins, anybody here to speak?
They're probably busy.
They're probably busy.
Okay, so they can't come today.
So then we got the mayor's office with Alicia, who I believe is on line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Is my presentation up and running? My PowerPoint?
Should be up and running. Let me see if I can skip to the next slide.
Thank you, yes.
No problem.
Wait. Sorry, the date is wrong on that, but anyhow. Well, hello, everyone. I hope everyone's had a great summer season so far. I am Alicia, your community liaison to your district, to the mayor's office. And next slide, please. So I wanted to share our Good Neighbor Guide, which is a trifold document that our team put together, our community outreach team, to address some of the most commonly asked questions or about city departments that we often hear when engaging with the community. You are able to go to the mayor's website and click on community outreach, where the red arrow is, and you can find the Good Neighbor Guide there in both English and Spanish. I would like to invite the Community Council to post this Good Neighbor Guide on your website, and also you may also include my contact information on your website. I'm not sure where it would fit, but if folks are wanting to report anything related to parking concerns in the neighborhood, on that trifold, you can look up parking compliance officers information so you can report stuff happening in the area. Okay. Next slide.
And really quick, Alicia, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Go ahead.
Did you say what the Good Neighbor Guide is? I either zoned out or I didn't hear it, so apologies.
The Good Neighbor is a trifold. It's just a trifold document. It's just a resource for about city departments, city contact information, about just popular topics that we get asked often as community.
So basically like an FAQ? But for like
Sort of,
neighborhoods?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
cool.
if you want to contact someone in public lands, there's a section for that. If you want to contact someone in public safety for a particular concern, there's also information in the trifold for that. Just a quick, reference guide for contacting city departments. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that clarification.
Yes. Next slide, please. So last week, the Salt Lake City Police Department joined Mayor Mendenhall and the Salt Lake City School District Superintendent to announce the city's Safe Passage to School initiative. For the entire week, Salt Lake City PD's activities included traffic education and enforcement, bike and walking patrol, and highly visible police presence throughout the neighborhoods near 2 chosen schools. This year it was Mountain View Elementary and Nibley Park School. Bilingual slow down signs were distributed to public and private schools, elementary schools, and we still have some extras in our office. So if you're interested in posting any in your neighborhood, you are welcome to come and pick those up, or I can drop them off to you. So yes, for the Transportation Division assessed about 800 school crossings, and they repainted many of the crossings as well on streets. So hopefully you get to see that in your neighborhood as well. Next slide, please. The Planning Commission is inviting residents in Districts 2 in your area that are experienced in fields like architecture, construction, to apply to be on the commission. The commission adopts and acts on any changes to the city's general plans, small area plans, special studies, zoning ordinances, and zoning district maps. The commission also approves planned unit developments, conditional uses, and certain divisions. It is a short and long-term, well, you work on short and long-term projects, and the commitment is for a 4-year term. And it's appointed by both the city council and the mayor. So if you're interested, I can forward that flyer to the board and you can post it on your website if you'd like.
Be fantastic. What are the hours like, right? Because I'm assuming most residents, especially in District 2, working families, right? Is it like a weekends kind of thing, or is it like a nighttime for 2 hours, 3 times a week?
Yes, it's during the weekday. It is evening hours, and I do believe that the minimum amount of commitment is a 2-hour meeting, an in-person meeting, and it could be twice a month.
Okay, twice a month,
So
perfect.
yeah.
And those looking for experiences in related fields, is that like a hard, like you need to have these experiences, or they just need bodies?
Well, they do prefer folks who are experienced in related fields that are listed there. I know that in the past, they have taken graduate students who are studying in the field of planning or architecture. So I think there's some flexibility, but there is a preference for those who are experienced in like construction, or housing. So, but
Okay.
if you have any further questions, I think Amy is on the flyer that you can contact her. And
No, this is one last
yeah.
question about, is there an interview process for this, or is it just like you apply and you wait to hear back?
Yes, that's it. That's what it is. You apply and wait to hear back.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
And then moving on to the next slide. The Human Rights Commission is also seeking for applicants in District 2. And the commission focuses on eliminating discrimination in Salt Lake City. It's to better enhance the general welfare of the city's residents by enhancing the vitality of diverse neighborhoods and businesses. The commission went appointed on the commission. The group is created for the general purpose of advising and counseling, for advising the council and the mayor on non-discrimination policy and providing resources for educating the citizenry on issues of discrimination and equal treatment.
Perfect. Yeah, this is great. This is great information. And I'm assuming that's the same process like the previous one,
For
right?
sure. Yes,
Okay.
and please contact Michelle Mooney.
Perfect.
Okay, next slide. So the city is upgrading their parking pay stations in downtown core. They are replacing nearly 270 stations that are over a decade old. The machines include an easier touchscreen interface, and they have multiple language options that include Spanish, Vietnamese, and Mandarin. And the contractor started installing these new pay stations on August 12th, and they will continue until October. Next slide. Thank you. So the Glendale Regional Park is anticipated to open in the summer of 2025. The contractor has been selected and construction of phase 1 is expected to begin on September 3rd. The construction of phase 1 includes a full basketball court, looped pathways, shaped canopies, conversion of half of the current tennis courts into pickleball courts. And I joined the Public Lands Civic Engagement Team to distribute a bilingual flyer, which is the flyer that's on the slide, to inform neighbors of the upcoming work in the area. That flyer is also in both English and Spanish, and I will also send that to the board. So if you'd like to post that on your website, you can as well. And we encourage you all to visit our city webpage to provide feedback or get updates on the list of projects in your neighborhood, including the Glendale Park. And then the next slide is on community events. You definitely don't want to miss out on the downtown farmer market, which is on Saturdays. And there are 3 different community events coming up on September 7th. The one that I'm featuring on here is the Pacific Health 5K, which is in building health communities one step at a time. The event is hosted by the Utah Pacific Islander Health Coalition. Please contact the event organizer if you're interested in participating. And I think the final slide is also another event that's happening in September. And the Grande district is going to be converted into a pedestrian promenade every Friday and Saturday in September. The street is going to be closed on 500 West between 7 and 800 South. You can enjoy live music, food and drinks. There will be street soccer, and kids activities will happen from 4 to 10 p.m. It's free admission. There will be an additional demonstration of a green loop. It's the linear park network concept that originated from community interest for a greener downtown. So make sure that that's on your list to do for the month of September. And the last slide is I want to inform everyone that my contact information mostly stays the same, but my email will change from .com to .gov.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So is it slc.gov or is it slcgov.gov?
It's gonna be redundant.
slc.gov.gov.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's government. It's gonna be slcgov.gov.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
You're asking too much.
Just a couple things from our chat, Alicia. We do have someone, so Brian asked, how do we get the drive with care yard signs?
How do we get what? Oh,
Yeah.
Drive with care
So-
signs?
Yeah.
I can ask the transportation department.
Okay.
Is
No
it the
need.
ones that for schools or just the general one, drive with care? Or,
Didn't specify.
Do
Oh,
you
for
have,
school, it's the for school.
do you have an
Oh.
answer for them, or do you?
So
so,
city council.
So that,
yeah,
Yeah, Alejandro in the chat, he says he has yard signs related to slowing down if you would like to go get any. Let's see, the other thing, Esther, wanted to just make a note that with the commissions applications, if you're interested in the Human Rights Commission or the, Planning Commission, sometimes those application processes can take a while, so just be, patient. Don't think that you're for sure not getting the position if you haven't heard back for a while.
good to know. Thank you, Esther. And is that all from you, Alicia?
yes. Thank you
Sweet.
for this.
Go on to our next.
Alrighty, perfect.
We update from Alejandro Pui. He is in the chat from what we saw. So if you have an update for us, Alejandro, that'll be great.
Not a big update. Sorry being late. I'm trying to recover from COVID, and I brought a nasty COVID bug to us here in Utah from Chicago, and so it hit me very hard. So I trying to get better. So I'm staying at home just to keep it away, and soon I should be out and about. But in any case, for the positions of the planning commission, I would strongly recommend someone that really cares a lot about the growth of the city, how our city is growing, and how we shape the future of the city. The city is not gonna stay stagnant, especially with the growing need for housing. There are many people moving to our city, but we need to do it right, and we need the advice of people that understand this from your perspective too. So we'd love to have someone from District 2 filling out that spot. We have that spot vacant again. So we'll love to have one of you that wants to commit to that. It is a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. Planning Commission gets a lot of pushback sometimes from the community, but you get a lot of support, you get a lot of learning too. The planning staff will teach you a ton of stuff. I learn from past members that they get it's a great opportunity to learn and grow yourself too.
So I
It's
have
a
a
great
question.
resume building too.
I have a question for you based on that. So the spot that we're applying for, is that a spot for like carved out for District 2 or just a spot to be on the commission, right? Like the commission, let's say the commission is like 10 seats and we're sort of like applying for one of those 10, or is there always going to be a seat at the table for District 2?
This is for District 2 itself. So we have a vacancy on District 2. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we should really like spread the word to your neighbors, right? Family and friends that sort of live in the neighborhood, right? Let's get this seat filled in, not leave it vacant, because that way we can have a voice at the table when it
Yes.
comes to like the planning of sort of how we expand.
Yeah,
Yep.
very much so. It's very important that we fill it up quick too. It is a long process. Like well said by Esther, it is not quick. But the more that we delay sending applications, in my opinion, I hope that we send many applications in so they get a good array of options. If anybody applies, would love to hear back so I can put a good word too. But yeah, planning commission certainly is a board that is a commission that is very important for the city, and we rely a lot to them.
And
yeah,
just
yeah.
how long, like, I mean, if you can say you don't know, but how long would you anticipate for the process to take, right? Is it a month wait, 3 months?
It's taking the administration, the mayor side, months, 3, 4, 5 months sometimes to review applications. I sometimes to a place that it gets very annoying. I'm not gonna lie, but I know that they have to go through a lot of things to make sure that they are good. But I'm hoping that they may go a little faster this time. But again, it is on the administrative side, so on the other side of the aisle, so I cannot really for sure tell you how fast they will go. But yeah.
Perfect, thank you so much.
No problem. Again, not much of a huge update. But yesterday we approved the CIP. I was able to get my colleagues on the council to make some changes that benefited our district. And I'm thankful for that, for allowing me those changes into the CIP. Even though that I was hybrid and not being able to talk in person with them for a little while, which makes negotiations a little harder. But I was able to jump on the phone even when I was a little sick. But I have good news for the gardens and for Five. I know that some members of the community have talked to me a lot about Five. And needing some funding, so I was able to get us some funding for Five. And for the gardens, they were not recommended originally from the administration, but we found additional funding, and I was able to make a good case for those in there. Other ones in the district as well related to a Glendale crossing for kids. Another one that I was able to add to the log, but just a few things that fortunately we passed yesterday. But I'm hoping that I can keep you more updated through email. I don't know if that's a good form, but I'm trying to send you more emails regularly to say, hey, this is what I'm doing.
The more open communication, the better. So thank you so much. And I'm sorry
Love,
for cutting you. You do have a question for you.
Yes.
So
Alejandro, about 6 months ago, targeting for backyard chicken. And I'm still waiting. Do you know?
Yeah.
As a senior, I get a discount for all my animals, but they go crazy for chicken feed.
Yeah.
And these chickens are very expensive.
No.
So my question is, they always said it's up to the city council. And where is it?
I think I heard the question, but I think I know, even if I didn't hear the whole question, I think I know what it relates to the chicken and the fees, right? Is that what? Yes.
Yep.
It was it cut out a little bit, and Mr. Sugars, I dug out a little bit on that. I had my liaison dig into why the fees are so high, and I agree that they're high. And why is the county involved, and why we're using the county as the fee setter on the chickens. And they fall into a category that it falls into the county to regulate. I'm trying to dig into the next step is about why don't we have maybe a senior discount or some other waiver to allow for those that want to raise chickens cheaper. Digging into that, it's not as straightforward as it seems. It's not on the council right now. The fees are managed for this issue is managed by the county right now. So digging a little bit, give me a little more time. Cutting through a lot of jurisdictions here to learn about chickens right now. I'm learning a lot myself. But I'm digging into it.
Let's just like grab some accountability from all sides. So if you said a timeline, what kind of timeline would you say he could expect sort of like a response, right? Like as you dig and do your research, can he expect to hear back from you like in a month and 2 months?
No, in a couple of weeks I should be able to give an idea of what is the next steps are for this. Know that I can solve the problem because that's
I don't expect you to like
but
solve
I can,
fees.
Yeah, but I can
Be
get
great for us to like feel as though you're participating and helping us out with our problems as we reach out to you, especially if it's just.
And if I might add.
Yeah.
I can. So there's a huge fee. It's almost $100 a year. And I never see anyone. So it's kind of like, you need money, but no one ever, I've never seen someone from the county.
Yeah.
And they say, ask the city council.
Yeah, so if you can just like write down like a little notebook somewhere, just like maybe like an update for like our next meeting or the one after, just to like make sure that we keep this ball rolling, because otherwise it would be really shitty to get to the end of the year and have no results after waiting 6 months.
I agree. I will keep all of you informed then on what I learned about chickens, and we already have a good dossier on chickens. We can start sharing the chicken dossier.
Perfect.
Consider noise pollution. You don't need a rooster to have eggs. And it's a nuisance. You got somebody next to you with a rooster that, crows all the time. And you don't need roosters to have eggs. It could be an issue. It's noise pollution. It's intrusive.
Well, we will cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. So, is that all from you, Alejandro?
Yes, no. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes.
Okay, okay, we do need to move on. Ricardo has to head out.
I do have to head out. Unfortunately, sorry guys, it breaks my heart. I'm gonna miss you all.
We'll see you next time. Let's see, do we have anyone from Sorensen Unity Center here today? There's someone from the chat. Nope, it sounds like no. Other side village, they don't have any updates. Oh, yes, they do. Just kidding.
So the other side village, we're moving along on the property. Right now, we're building vertical for our pavilion. We have roads mapped out that need to be paved. We have sewage, water, electricity, and Google Fiber is donating the internet, so they'll be installing that. The next step for us would be to install pads for the different tiny homes, and then put those up. And we're looking to start before the year's up.
All right.
Of course, the donut shop is up and running.
Yes. Thank you for bringing those.
We have a party room that is booked out for the entire month of September. We have 20 people that we've gotten off the streets that were formerly homeless. We got detox, and they're in our prep school right now. And so prep school is the first to stop get stabilized, recalibrate, and teach them how you're going to keep the house. Are you going to keep the job? Are you going to be a leader, a mentor in the community? And that's about a minimum of 6 months or more, depending on how they go through that process. Any questions?
From the other side.
So yeah, that's Academy now.
You know, like this, the aspect on the other side. No. We want permanent residents, but it won't essentially live in it.
They can, we don't, they can say they're as long as they want, as long as they, you know, buy rules, which is HOA. Payment, no drugs, no alcohol.
But the other comment would be, you know, the other side of that is really, what it, you know, does. But the overall expense of this program is astronomical. This is another one of the mayor's fantasy fuel bill. There's got good intentions in there. It's not a cure of homelessness, not a cure of drug addiction. It's not. But the other side of it, it's constructive and it's got each unit is astronomical. And the overall cost is just going to be mine. Community, in the local model was community first. Austin, Texas. Yeah. Cost of the home they have down there. The design. $25,000. The city said they are $90,000.
Yeah, that's fully built out, that's fully started. Absolutely.
$165,000, the university said $90,000.
Yeah, that was, yeah, it was a little bit cheap before, COVID, but we want to make sure that when people get off the streets, they get detox, they get cleaned up. We want to make sure that we're not moving them into a tough shit. We're moving them into a place that's beautiful, safe, prosperous. I'm moving to, I'm moving there and living there, promote the culture so that anybody else will come to a place that's beautiful as well. That's why. Right, but we're paying. Cities are paying for it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, this is right.
How long?
Well, so that's one of the reasons. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why we started like this. That's how this organization, the Academy, supports itself.
I understand, but I mean, that's really.
We're following.
But that's, who's funding it now? Who's paying off the debt? And all these construction people out there, I talked to a construction worker out there, he said 3 times the initial estimate to have all the infrastructure stuff go in there. I mean, it's astronomical. She picked a choice, which is a swamp. And I had to go take a chance and ended up, because it's a swamp. I mean, that's like financial. I mean,
It was a landfill. And one of the reasons why it took so long, is we had to do a volunteer environmental cleanup program. So, there had to be some remediation in the land. So developers around the state of Utah can go and use any kind of soil for dirt they want to build products. Because we're in that product, in that program, we're at that high standard, right? And so when we get this dirt, as volunteers was donated, and then we had to test it and say, well, our level is a little bit high.
I understand. Who's funding this?
It's, private.
Who is
funding.
Who's the private funder that's paying for all this? Well, I'd like to see the statistics of like. This is not, this is.
And run everything, if anybody else will invite you. So you can see who's actually.
Has it been extravagantly expensive to do what has been done there? And models. You know, first
I've been there.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And this community is, I mean, that was. People have community cooking facilities. This is areas in every. Person have their cooking facilities there to burn the place down. This is a problem they had in Los Angeles in the Rio Seco. People burn it down.
Well, nobody goes straight into,
I understand.
we teach you how to maintain the place. Place over. I can be a mentor and a leader. That's why I go to the Precinct first. Obviously, the business. We're gonna teach you how to maintain it. It's not gonna be a revolving door. We're gonna teach you. How are you gonna keep the place? How are you gonna keep the job? How are you gonna, communicate, community? So that's what we teach you first. So all that business stuff, that's actually going on right now in our Precinct. And I invite you to come back. Yeah. So they're good meals, right?
The other side is like it's constructed.
It's pretty much the same model. This one has been, kind of tweaked for, for people with mental health issues, but don't require medication. That's the only reason why they can't go to this academy. Because the academy was set up as a medical facility, and we turned a lot of people away and said, you know what, we can do something about it. And that's how the other side did it. Specifically, of course, chronic illness. It's like, you need to take medication. That's what the. pretty much.
Can we use the neighborhood? Do you have any volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, you go. You can go. On the street, it's all. Donuts, deliver the donuts and work.
And they're good donuts.
And anybody who wants to buy a question. And then.
High five. Move on.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your updates. Okay, let me,
Come on, okay.
one moment. If we just one more thing before, we move on, Jake from the neighborhood house had a brief, something he wanted to share with all of us. Okay, he's up front, I just let him know that we're ready for him. Karen, do you want to maybe run and see if he's up front? Oh, he's come, okay. So we're ready for you, Jake.
Well, I submitted my 2 weeks notice to Neighborhood House today, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Poplar Grove for to work with you on a monthly basis. It has been by far my favorite part of the job to be here as part of this community. And now I get to come to your meetings as a concerned citizen rather than a concerned staffer. So thank you all so much for the time. I feel part of this community as someone who comes from a small town to come here and feel that same vibe despite being in a big city is something that I wasn't expecting coming to Utah. So thank you for making me feel part of your home and your community. And I look forward to sitting alongside you all instead of having to work at the front. So if you ever need anything, let me know. I'm happy to provide my contact info, but thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for letting us
Thank
do
you.
this. Noel.
Yes. We appreciate Jake, he is awesome. Okay, just some things, for Poplar Grove, Groove in the Grove is in September. It's on the 28th. That is the last Saturday in September from 11 to 3 over at the Precinct. Be there every square. Now, if you can't come, we understand, but we'd love to see you. It'll be a great time. There'll be food, entertainment, there'll be booths. It'll just be a great time. If you have any questions, please reach out. We will be so happy to answer. Open mic nights, still at the Sugar Space Arts Warehouse every first, third Sunday, 5 to 8 p.m. I'm sure our guests from Rio Grande Plan, they'll talk all about this, but they're having a community event on Thursday, the 12th of September from 6 to 8 at the Sorensen Center, and they'll talk all about the Rio Grande Plan. Sorry, I don't want to speed through these, but we kind of need to. Fisher Mansion, there'll be a beer garden. Fisher Brewery is partnering with the city for Saturday and Sunday, September 21st and 22nd from 12 to 8 over at Fisher Mansion. There'll be a lot of fun things going on. Admission is free, all ages welcome, but of course, if you would like to purchase an alcoholic beverage there, you will need to be 21 years of age or older and have your ID. And also my hometown has opened a Westside Community Resource Center. Just things, classes to meet your, the needs of the community. And it's located there 934 West Fremont Avenue. And I've got their website posted there if you'd like to learn more. And again, the planning commission Alicia, so we'll just go through that. And just a reminder, if you have questions about developments happening in our neighborhood, we do have a page on our website where you can read about those. And if you would like to share input, you can do so there. And This month's spotlight is Utah Paper Box. We have them, a little bio about them on our website. And just again, thanks for Neighborhood House for always hosting us and being so wonderful. And next, we have our public presentations. We've got, first we have Kyle Irving from Livable, Transportation Department talking about livable streets.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kyle with the Salt Lake City Transportation Division, talking about livable streets. There's a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, so it might be repeating myself, but livable streets is our new citywide traffic calming program. We have an established process for what order we're gonna do each neighborhood in, but the idea is that eventually we're gonna be getting to each neighborhood. Could you hit the next slide, please?
Sure can.
Right now, we're accepting feedback, really, anytime we're accepting feedback. This program is specifically focused on local streets where people live, where the speed limit is 20 miles or 30 miles an hour or less, or 3 vehicle travel lanes or fewer. You can see all the comments we've gotten in the areas we're working in right now. We're in some stage of the process in our first 20 zones out of 113. Just launched this program a couple of years ago. Next slide, please. Traffic calming is things like raised crosswalks, curb extensions, speed cushions or speed bumps, pedestrian refuge island, flashing and crosswalk signs and pedestrian push buttons, things like that. Just to encourage safer streets, slower speeds, and more comfortable streets as well. Sure.
Speed bumps or bumps that the one. What's the criteria? Because I love bumps. It looks great about the police. Would 900 that's high?
We would likely do speed tables.
But that's what we put out.
Yeah, you can design that sort of infrastructure for the speed of the road.
Do you approach
it?
Yeah. But
consider being.
Yeah, I would love to. Not a working project. Next slide, please. So right now, these are the preliminary plans for zone 9, which is just a few blocks over that way between Redwood Road and Cheyenne and 4th South in Indiana. All these blue dots over here are going to be some sort of vertical traffic calming with the speed bump. And then at these 3 locations, or this is also a speed bump, but at these 2 red locations, we're doing some more specific or some different improvements. Next slide, please. A raised crosswalk to Edison Elementary right here and some bulb outs. And that's on 5th South, just south of Edison. And then next slide, please. This is coming off Redwood Road on 8th South. We're looking at shortening up the crosswalk distance here, slowing down turning vehicles, and potentially putting in a small median here just to get cars to slow down as they enter the neighborhood from a higher speed, busier street. Next slide, please. I'm not certain. I think it is just needed. This is in zone 4, which is over between 9th West and I-15, and then 4th South down to 9th South. We're looking at bulb outs, 9th West and 5th South, and 9th West and 6th South. These are pretty massive. They don't come into 9th West too much because of the bike lane here, but these streets are massively overbuilt, and so we're going to drastically shorten the crossing distance here. Next slide, please. And then similar one at 6th South, our neighborhood highways, which are a network of local streets that are already fairly safe and comfortable to walk and bike along, but we make some improvements where you have to cross busier streets. This one includes bike ramps for that purpose. So if you're a bike approaching this intersection, you would just use the bike ramp to come up to the pedestrian push the button, cross like you were walking. I just stay on my bike the entire time when I use these things. And then there's a bike ramp for you to join back on the other side of the street. Next slide, please. We're just now starting an engagement process. We're going to be out canvassing the neighborhood for traffic calming along Indiana Ave. This is from the fire station over to just west of Poplar Grove Park. It's likely going to be speed humps or speed cushions. It is a fire route, and so those speed cushions, they're very similar to a speed hump, but they have cutouts in them that are wider than a standard vehicle. So emergency vehicles don't have to slow down for those, but standard passenger vehicles would. But like I said, we're going to be out in the neighborhood for the next few weeks, and we'll have updates for you at the next community council. Next slide, please. These are a little bit further out of the neighborhood, but I thought I'd include them in a presentation. The Third West Bikeway, we're looking at putting a protected bike lane from 9th South all the way up to 3rd South, connecting two key bike corridors. This is gonna be in the street on the pavement, but it's gonna have a concrete curb. So it's gonna be protected similar to what you see on 3rd South. There's gonna be some additional improvements for safety here and there. But that's the general project, and that's anticipated to begin construction next year. We are meeting with all the businesses and along this corridor in the coming weeks, and we'll have a whole public engagement outreach process. Next slide, please. The 4th South Viaduct Trail, I've probably talked to you guys about this 3 times now, but this will run from 9th West over to 2nd West. Over at 9th West, as you're heading west east, a section of it will be separated, shared use path. And then once you get onto the bridge right here, it will actually be in the road, but separated by a concrete barrier. And we're getting space here by just narrowing up each of these travel lanes slightly. It's going to include arcs. It's going to connect the bike lanes on 9th West. Well, currently there's not really a great cross between 2nd South. Well, there isn't a crossing between 2nd South and 8th South. So this is going to be an awesome east-west connection from the 9th West bike lanes over to the new 3rd West path, and then also the parking protected bike lane, or the bike lanes on the 2nd West. Next slide, please. Open Streets Grant Area again, we talked about this already. We built a cool little temporary roundabout to study how traffic's flowing around it. Shut down half the street. We have a bunch of artists painting a huge mural right on the street, and there's going to be live music and food trucks and everything, so come out. Next slide, please. And then this is a QR code for the Livable Streets program. We're just looking to hear if you see a lot of dangerous driver behavior on a certain street, like speeding, or you don't feel safe using a crosswalk, anything like that. We have a survey on our website, or feel free to just send us an email. We'd love to follow up with you. And then 2 projects I forgot to put in the presentation. We're building a roundabout at 10th West and 7th South. That's going to start in the construction is going to start in the coming weeks, and we are aware of the groove and the grove, and so we're going to be coordinating with the contractor to make sure that the street's open for the event. And then the 600 South end of the project. So our engineering division has reconstructed 8th West from 8th South, up to I believe 5th South. It's that really nice tree lined median street. And it hangs on to 6th South. We're going to be putting in that upgraded crossing part of Livable Streets, and then further along that street, there's a couple of dead ends that don't have ideal ramps if you're trying to get through pushing a stroller or a bike or something. So we're looking at improving some of the ramps there, and then adding some traffic calming along 6th South, like traffic circles and speed cushions and things like that along 6th South Street. That was a word salad of addresses and all this stuff. But any questions?
We do have one from online. Esther has a question about the viaduct. So if, Esther, if you want to unmute, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. For the viaduct, are you focusing primarily between the freeway and the exit? I can't remember if it's 2nd West or not, but or will it trickle down to 9th West?
It goes all the way to 9th West. From 9th West over to where the bridge starts, it will be separated from the street. It'll be offset from the street, and it'll be a shared use 2-way path. And then once you get to the bridge, it's on the road, but protected by a concrete curb.
Okay. So
Or
just to clarify, because the section by when you exit off the freeway going into Poplar Grove has always been a sore point for me. Does that mean that that island in that section right at 9th West and, you know, going west will be cleared off and cleaned up and looking better? Is that part of the project?
I don't
Yeah.
Just in terms of trash?
No, it doesn't. There's a what is it called? The divider, right before the median. Yes. The median. It always has weeds, and I'm wondering if the art and the cleanup and just beautification will be part of that process.
I'm not certain that the what the scope of the project is right there, but I'm happy to follow up with you and potentially reach out to UDOT or streets, whoever maintains that, so we can potentially get that cleaned up.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mhm. Anyone?
Go ahead.
Sorry, sure. The following, on 47. And what, however, I can't, even with that. I'm striking. Sorry. Doesn't. So I guess my question. Yeah. Instead of reporting the problem, can't we just keep it quiet and refer to that as a traffic calming device? All that stuff. I'm just saying, you know, it goes around.
Yeah, there are certainly streets in the city that are so bad that you can't speed unless you're.
But anyway, I just want to compliment you guys, the traffic going up and down, north, south, has slowed down, and reduced dramatically, that means those cars are somewhere else for me.
Yeah, we're actually looking at making some further improvements to Fourth South.
They're kind of, we just push the traffic farther somewhere else, so it's speeding somewhere else, up on Sept.
Yeah.
There any
Streets that 29 speed or speed and speed. Do you have the new speed zones? My neighbor. Think it's like. There's still some people walking.
Yeah.
Side street. To the intersection. Back there, about 3 months ago. Years ago, that's why the streets get rid of it. But what do you do in terms of?
That'd be a question for the police department. We support enforcement. We support enforcement, but we also want to design streets that are inherently safe, so that they don't need to be enforced ideally. If you welcome to submit a request to our team in transportation, and we put out those temporary speed trailers. And then also for rural streets program, I'd love to get some permanent in there so that we don't have to. Yes.
We're coming back to you guys for more.
There. So Green Street is likely going to get traffic circles. What we're looking at right now, we're just starting the public outreach process, so this can change. But that's what our initial analysis suggested. And then that's at 5th South and 6th South, I believe. Yes, and then also Indiana, near the school, the Park Elementary there. Yeah, there's a lot of those neighborhoods we're gonna be working on for local streets coming up, and so I really encourage you to submit your feedback. Yeah.
For public outreach, will we find information?
Yeah, in terms of. Oh, yeah, this will take you to the website. Great, thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right, do you have any feedback? That's where you'll send it. Let's see, next up, we have just real quick, we've got Austin from Redevelopment Agency. Talking about the redevelopment of 1410 West Indiana Avenue. And you needed
Could you pull up a map?
I sure could.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everybody. I'm with the Redevelopment Agency. So we're a part of the city government that helps revitalize certain neighborhoods of the city that have been around since the 1960s. And the city gave us a piece of land that it owns just earlier this year. It's at 1410 West Indiana Avenue. And the city's asked us to turn that from a vacant piece of land into something that benefits the neighborhood and improves the economy and improves the life in the area. So I'm just gonna pull up the map.
Let's
really
get
quick.
that shared.
I'll show you. So you might have walked by, it's 1410 West Indiana Avenue, it's 0.57 acres. And I'm coming to you to ask what your opinion is basically on the site. So just to lay the groundwork, a little over half an acre, we will for sure be having retail on this site. That's actually a requirement that the city has given us. We have to have retail. But the questions that I want to pose to you all is, one, like what kind of retail would you want to see on this site? Is it a coffee shop? Is it a restaurant? Is it some kind of small store? Is it like a small office, something like that? And then the other question that I wanted to ask you guys is housing related, because it's a relatively large site. So we basically have two options. We could do just retail, or we could do retail and housing. And just for context, this is zoned RMF 35, which means you can have a 3-story building. And so we could do, just retail here, or we could do something like a 3-story building with housing on top, or, retail building with townhomes in the back. But I wanted to get your opinion. So I have some specific questions. So the first thing is, I just want to hear, what kind of retail would you guys want to see on this lot here? Coffee shop. Cafe. Social retail gathering. Green space. Yeah. Courtyards.
So you're walking down.
Yeah.
But it should be food. Me personally, I want it. Yeah, for sure. Really, food places to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, that I get important, but to not connect, the Indiana with the island. Whether that is coming up for green space easily bisect that. One on one side or one on the other.
So you're saying some kind of walkway?
Yeah. Some way the humans. It's like.
We do have one question. Esther wanted to know, because anything that you put there will affect traffic. Is there going to be any kind of like underground parking, or what?
So probably not underground parking. It's just so expensive.
Right.
So if there is parking, more than likely it would be hidden behind the building.
Okay.
So the building would, face the sidewalk. That's best practice for urban
Okay.
design. And then the parking would be in the back in some sort of lot or garage.
Would rooftop parking be an option, or is that?
Most likely not. So the construction style that you'll do on a 3-story building like this is just wood frame. Is the cheapest way to do it.
Okay.
And so it would be surface parking,
Okay.
or it would be parking that's covered by something on top.
Okay.
Once you start doing garages, you're looking at $30,000 to $50,000 per spot. It's just so expensive.
Got it.
How much is the city stop?
That doesn't have to happen. That's just the maximum we could go is 3 stories. Yeah, we don't have to go up to 3 stories.
I understand, it's like you were to the college. Then just open it up to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Shops or really like east people over that. Jobs.
Yeah.
Like not just got a little slap together place where people find it out.
Yeah, let me explain the process. So the redevelopment agency works on public-private partnership projects. So we ourselves as a government agency don't do the real estate development. We don't hire the architects and the contractors, everything. What we do is we have a piece of land like this, we gather your opinions, And then we put out like a for sale document saying, we want to sell this piece of land. This is what we want built on it. And so you developers out there, how much can you pay us for this land? What are you gonna do on it? And then we pick the developer that commits to the project that aligns with your goals and our goals the most. And that's who we sell it to. Yeah. And so it'll be up to them, honestly, to find the business owner that would want to open the restaurant or the coffee shop.
Is the RDA involved in the night plan that just fell through? They were going to build, they were gonna put in 67 units of senior small commercial. A lot is limited. They're talking about housing, they're talking coffee shop, floral shop, something they're around for. The seniors understand it, because they consider a senior center away from them with all the redesign I want to do.
You're talking ninth west, 9th south?
Nice stuff.
Yeah, so we're a funder of that project, and that project actually fell through.
I understand.
Yeah.
That, but the plan fell through, is exactly what I was describing. So at half an acre. And I met with the people, the new Eldon. He said, no. Then he had the 99 properties. For example, see that I work across the service center across the street at Dallas. If we're interested, because just completely, no, that happens. But we're across the street with our thrift store. The thrift store is way no. This is plans. What you know, we would be glad they're trying to replace those street access and you would be getting better park. Slot, anything I've seen 4 or 5 different proposals. And anything you do there, especially if it's the man park, senior citizens of the park require necessary, like, by terms.
Yeah, if we, if we need parking, there will be room in the back that we'll put it. I want to move on to the second question, if I can ask one more question, that's good. So the second question is about housing, right? This will for sure be retail. It might also include housing. So if it did include housing, I want to hear what type of housing you guys would think, smaller units, bigger units, rental, for sale, affordable, and what kind of housing would you want to see if there were housing here too?
Well, in my opinion, no, right from hand earlier. 2 stories is probably going to be, just to keep and, consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. But also, so you can always have the retail underneath. You can have a way for people to get through and in and out and parking in the back. I don't see much of an issue. The real thing though, people remember is that usually those developers come back here, make that kind of a proposal or something new like that.
Thanks.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then we go, I'm on the side.
Yeah. Any opinions about the housing if that were included? Yeah.
What is affordable?
So it's generally viewed as someone spending 30% of their income on rent if it's a for rent product. And
I understand that, what I'm saying. Knowing what construction prices are, what are you looking at for a single bathroom, one bedroom, kind of, you're doing, what kind of numbers are you looking at? So what's affordable? We'll do it, not 30%. We're talking $2,000-3,000 a month.
So you're talking like a monthly rent?
Yes.
Yeah, so that all depends on what sort of area median income that you shoot for generally, and
Oh,
you
we
can,
multiply towards the person?
yeah, so, and generally in the US, the standard that a lot of housing subsidy programs shoot for is 60% of area median income. In Utah, a family of 4 area median income is just over $100,000. And so a single person household at 60% AMI is a household earning like just under $60,000. And so if you take a third of their income, you know, you divide it, multiply it by 0.3, divide it by 12. So that rent is a $1,500 rent. So in today's economy, it sounds high, but it does, and that's why you have to get government subsidy to pay for construction costs on that.
Rather than the thing, when we think about like operation on the west side, if they were tiny condos or like homes, like
Yeah.
something like that would be better. We've got so many like high-rise apartments like that city that I think just having actual investment like in that property would be the.
Thanks.
Esther also says she recommends a mix of types of housing if that could be something.
Yeah. Cool, thanks. Well, just to sum it up, so you guys are interested in cafes, outdoor dining, social retail, courtyards, food and beverage. If there were housing, it sounds like smaller starter homes, condos, townhomes, that kind of thing. So, and affordable. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see. Good, thank you, Austin. Appreciate you coming and talking about the redevelopment of that property. Next we have, Frederick Jenny with the Rio Grande plan. And you can certainly share your screen.
Last but not least. Hopefully not least. And then can I ask you to maybe run the, like, there's a few with a bunch of animations, so you're just, I know. And you can unload it. It's got no charge. Okay. So, I know, it's been a while, I'm tired. Wow, I might be able to wake you up a little bit. My name is Frederick Jenny. I am not from this area. I live just over the viaduct, over the railroad track, actually, at 200 West Forest. So in the downtown area. I am representing a group of volunteers called Rio Grande. We are community members who are advocating for the Rio Grande plan. The person who found our group, Christian Lenhart. When I say found the group, we're just a bunch of guys. We don't even have time to be a 501c3 because filing paperwork takes time and we all have full-time jobs. And we'd rather commit to coming to community events and doing those type of things as well instead. So Christian Lenhart came up with this plan in 2020, and I'm sure people heard a lot about it, hopefully, but if not, I'm very excited to go through it. So if you can go to the next slide. So the meeting goals here, I want to present the Rio Grande plan to you all, define benefits, talk about the steps, answer your questions about it. So everybody's familiar with the current conditions of downtown and the railroad tracks, how they basically block off, those trains block off access between the east and the west side in most cases, with about 500 daily activations every day for the 8 railroad crossings between 13 South, 600 North, and out to 1000 West. We're looking at possibly those going up to 800 daily activations by 2030. So in just about 5 years, we'll see those increase because of inland port expansion and the double tracking of front runner. We've had measurable pollution from idling of cars and trains. With all of those multiple blocked streets, we're looking at a socioeconomic divide between east and the west. Everybody goes, oh, it's west side, east side. But there can't be, in my opinion, a west side and east side if the tracks are kind of put underground, and I'll get to that in a minute. Emergency services must account for the tracks. They need to go to the viaducts, 13, 400 South, or North Temple. in order to access the west side. Same thing with UTA buses, as famously known, the 9-line bus goes down 900 south until 3 west, or out over 13 south, go over the line, come back to 9. So you have to go all the way up to Glendale to get to Poplar. And we're also lacking a world-class station. You can click the next one. Central stations around the US. This is Philadelphia, and this is going to be a rapid fire. So you can just do, I think it's 5. New York, DC, Denver, Chicago, and Cincinnati. One more. And this is isn't this perfect?
Beautiful.
It's Salt Lake Central Station. It was meant to be the promise of a brand new station back in 1999 when they moved the trains there from the Rio Grande Depot, and we'll get into that in a minute. As a promise to be, this will be our new station, our new vitalization, and well, we are all familiar with the fact that it is still a triple wide trailer. If you can click one more for me. There's our triple wide trailer. It's exposed to the elements, and it's half the ridership that North Temple Station does, and nobody really wants to go, especially at night, which is when the Amtrak arrives. Next slide, please. Well, ironically enough, our future could be our past. Rio Grande Depot is a 114-year-old train station. It just celebrated its 114th birthday on the 20th. It was built by the Denver Rio Grande Western Railway in 1910, and it was built to be bigger than Union Pacific's one, which is the one that has Gateway, and it is bigger. In fact, it's actually big. The main Grand area, the penthouse, is larger than Denver Union Station, but the sides of it are. It was damaged during the 2020 earthquake and is receiving a $50 million upgrade right now by the state. It's owned by the state. And after that, there is no future use. They don't know what they're going to do yet. We think it should be our train station again. So go ahead and click the next one. So what is the Rio Grande? A lot of misconceptions of what it is, who's trying to push it. It's just a bunch of, honestly, it's just a bunch of train nerds and engineers who really enjoy our city and want to see it come together. So everybody's familiar with the pink. That's the current rail alignment with the large rail yard sitting here that's not used at all. We're all familiar with Ryan Smith's new entertainment district and then the power district over here. And there are all these crossings. You can click once for me, please. All of the X's are railroad crossings. All of the squares are viaducts. So this is 400, that's North Temple. This is 5 and 6 south. And all the way down here, this is 7, 8, and 9. And this is not actually a crossing, but it will be a reopened street once we look at the historic corridor, which goes right by the Rio Grande Depot, which is 500 west. If you click one more, please, for me, we're going to pull up this wonderful statement, which basically says, take the tracks, move them to 500 west. Click again, please. Put it into a train box along the previous historic corridor. Trains used to run down there until 1999. We pulled up the tracks. So we want to return passenger service to the Rio Grande Depot, open 75 acres of land for redevelopment, cut back the freeway bridges, get rid of the railroad crossings, remove viaducts, remove the 400 South viaduct, remove the North Temple viaduct, make those surface streets as they should be. And one more, please, for the magical transformation. This is what it would look like. Now, this is all theory. We just did this to make people go, wow, look at all that development that we can have. It could be a park. It could be a new stadium. It could be anything that we, the citizens, imagine it could be, because unlike other projects, like an expansion of the freeway that come from the top down, where the officials say, thou shalt do this, we're coming from the ground up. We're just a bunch of people coming to the community saying, let's make this a reality. And let's decide what we want to see here. And I know it's a little small, but this is an uncovered train box called a train trench here in this corner. That's Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada has one of these. LA has 2 of them, and El Paso. So this isn't a far-fetched idea. And it's been done in places very similar to Salt Lake City in terms of earthquakes and the environment. So I can go on. I've been talking a lot. Are there any questions so far?
What is this referring to the I-15 expansion?
So this is completely unrelated to the I-15 expansion. This is a project that is citizen run. UDOT's I-15 expansion is UDOT's decision. And I would love to take the $4 billion for that project and put it into this, but I don't make that decision. If I did, then I would have changed that a while ago.
So I've heard that UTA kind of opposes this plan.
UTA has their own ideas, which would essentially double down on the existing infrastructure, which is just going to essentially build a large office tower on the place of Central Station and will not vary. So the rails will continue to be where they are. They will continue to have long waits. It does not do what this project does. Comparing the two projects, as much as UTA would like to, they're not the same. This project is a transportation project, but it is also a reconnecting communities project. It is meant to remove a barrier between the east and the west side, and the railroad is a barrier. So as much as I know UTA doesn't like it, theirs is also unfunded too. Sir.
You mentioned that there's an issue.
So the true issue is the idling of cars waiting for trains to pass on. Now, in the future, as Front Runner moves forward, they're planning on electrifying it. This box would be able to have the cat carriers above to allow for electric trains. Ma'am, I was sorry, sir.
Yeah, part of that, which will end at 9.
No, it will actually end all the way down at 13 South. That's when it will get back to 0 where it's out. So it'll come out at 13, come out at 1000, and come out at 600 North.
The train yard is down at 17.
There is a train yard currently right here. I know that there is one, Roper Yard is down at 21st. That is not a part of this. So this is mainly focusing on the downtown one that's not used. Sorry, just, yep.
You mentioned you want to get rid, if this plan gets put in, you want to get rid of North, South, bypass.
I know. Because you don't have anything to go over. When the is no longer there, you don't need to go over it.
You just go straight.
Because you go under the freeway and over the tracks for the 4 South Viaduct. You don't need to go over the tracks there.
Yeah, is this just a plan that's being discussed? Or is this going to happen?
I'm sorry, it's going to what?
Is it going to happen?
It can happen. I think it easily can. This can be the Olympic project. This can take 5 years, according to the Kimley Horn engineers, which worked with the city to do, and I don't have it with me. On our QR code, you can go to the city's website and you can find the engineering drawings for this plan. The city paid for an entire engineering analysis, and in that analysis, they said they could do this in 5 years.
Yeah, I've seen like, I don't understand, it only just eliminates the train.
All trains go through this. All trains go through.
You don't have a real.
No, sir.
So it's
a little small here, but I encourage you, after we're done with the presentation at the end, to come over and see right here, where we have 6 tracks line up. In fact, if we go super speed to the end, I can show you on here. But if I can continue on this, I'll get to answer yours and I'll show you a visual. Get the next, please. This is a slight cross section. I know it's a little too small to see. One more, please. So what are the benefits for Westside residents? I think we all understand that removing the rails, basically, it's essentially removing the rails. No more waiting at blocked crossings, trying to go between east and west. No having to go, well, that didn't work, turn around and go find a viaduct. You can walk, bike easily. I mean, I might live on the east side, but I work at L3 Harris over in by the airport. I bike to work almost every day. So I experience having to go on 200 South over the railroad tracks and get blocked a bunch. Fewer incidents and deaths with railroad crossings. There can't be any incidents and deaths if the railroad crossings aren't there and the trains are underground. Better potential east-west bus routing. As I mentioned before, the 9 line goes all the way over to 13 South, go over to come back. It would basically be able to go right down the 9 line as it should. Hopefully more will be able to happen because you will have more crossings available without being there and easier access to, basically easier access to a rail station in a district that can create housing, green space, and one place in downtown that is the train station. That's it. And also, this plan doesn't displace any residential homes. It's all built within the public right of way on 500 West. So it may affect businesses. It will, just like all construction does, but it will not demolish any residential homes. Can I go one more? Economic benefits. This one is one of the ones that really, kind of pops out, especially for the fact that, it will help pay for itself over time. The land value of the rail yard right now is worth 17 million and it can go up to 1.9 billion. And that's a lot of money. And everybody always looks at me and goes, wow, that's a lot of money. You stand to make a lot of money off that. I go, yeah, sure, I wish. I don't have any stance to make money off this. I don't want to. I want to do this because this is how we make our city better, how we level it up and make it one city together. Essentially, what this will do is it will drive mixed use, transit-oriented development with lots of potential green space, more biking, more walking, closer city together, more community. And it's the nexus of activity. 160,000 cars move through this area daily between the viaducts and on the railroad crossings. So let's bring everything together at this one place, Rio Grande Depot. Next, please. So in summary, this is a grassroots solution. So this is citizen driven. So I know that it doesn't have a possibility of happening. Yes, if the people say things. That's why we're coming to community council meetings, asking for letters of support to show our politicians that, yeah, there's a lot of people who want this thing. And we don't want a brand new office building at Central Station. We want the railroad tracks. How ironic would it be to say the 2002 Olympics tore up the rails to the Rio Grande Depot and the 2034 ones put them back? As time goes on, this is going to get harder and harder to do as more development happens from RDA, from the city, that type of thing. But also, UTA and UDOT already want to grade separate from them. They don't care about the grade. They just want to grade separate the commuter. This is the right way to do it from an engineering perspective. I'm an engineer. This is the right way to do it. So let's do it right the first time. Then we don't have to do it again. So with that, quick one more. Next steps, we're going to continue to engage with communities. I encourage you to come to our September 12th event, which was mentioned earlier. On the next slide will be a QR code you can scan that shows your petition and all that stuff. And really, I'm also looking for a letter of support from your community. Now, I know that that is something that is, very important. And there are a lot of questions with this project. I don't want to pressure anybody to do something. But I encourage you to look into the project, think about it, and do a letter of support because without the community support, this project really won't move forward. So if you scan that QR code, you'll find all of our information, LinkedIn, YouTube. YouTube's a lot of fun. That's how I got involved. I got involved 10 months ago after watching a YouTube video from Christian Lindard, again, the guy who originally came up with it. And I was like, I like this. So, sir.
This generates the fact that the Rio Grande Depot is being saved. I'm not particularly interested in the areas. Circumference around the city of Keegan area, which, but my concern, which was with kind of different finance from this. We're going to finance.
So that's a very good question. So right now there's $2 trillion hasn't been allocated for anything. I think I found a really good way only to use. And so that's where we have to start talking to our elected officials, especially those ones who were up on the hill, to say, look, this project is an Olympic level project. This is how we can level our city up, bring our city together, not by expanding the freeway, not by building, gondola of Little Cottonwood Canyon. This, in my opinion, is the better way. And if you can click a few, I would like to have this question about this is what we're imagining. Now, don't buy into this completely. It is just one picture that we have because our urban designer friend, who's now getting his master's degree, made this. And I know a lot of people get hung up on this last year. It's just a theory, okay? A few more. So again, from the inside of it, and we can come back to these. I just want to click through to, it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. So a lot of similar projects. You just keep going. Oh, there's the UTA one. We can go past this one.
It's trying,
I know, it's slow. I probably should have just scrolled, but I really wanted to show the visual of that one, if we can get to it. Here it is. So you can see underneath here, and if you click once for me, these are for Union Pacific. They're gonna get a nice deal out of this. They're getting another mainline track for them, so they can continue to move freight through. More freight. This future-proofs the project. So today, there's 4 train lines that go through downtown, like 4 through tracks. This one creates 6, all comprised of one street essentially, because this fits within 500 West, sorry. One for Amtrak, which is something they don't have right now, which would allow for Amtrak to, you can click it again, allow Amtrak to move trains through, especially because they want to expand in Utah and add 2 more long distance lines through Salt Lake City. And then one more click, the existing UTA tracks that will continue to run front runner. This is actually an advantage to UTA because they don't have double tracks south of Central Station. They only have 1 track. So they want a double track front runner. This gives it to them all the way to 13 South. Did that answer your question, sir? Awesome.
It's just north-south tracks, we go east-west.
So east-west is a little bit different, and I don't have those in this presentation. It will go out to 1000 West. I think it's gonna be only 4 tracks instead of the 6, because it's not as wide west as it is on 500 West. And of course, it can always be expanded. You had your hand.
Yeah, what's jurisdiction here?
There's a lot of that. That is the hardest part for all of us, because essentially we've gone to Wasatch Regional Council, UTA just doesn't return my calls, the UDOT, and everybody goes, well, you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to this person. And then finally, when I presented to Salt Lake County Council, they said, we'll back it. So they voted in a 5-2 vote with 2 members not there, which council's majority Republican. They voted to endorse this plan. They said, this is going to continue to be a problem. The railroad tracks are going to continue to be a problem. Trains are going to get longer. We need to have a solution now. And so they endorsed it. And that triggers Wasatch Regional Council to start looking into it. And so we, as community members, I have postcards that I will postmark for you if you fill them out. And you can pick anybody you want to talk to. UTA, Wasatch Regional Council, Celeste Lloyd, her staff love this. Union Pacific CEO, and I have every single member. These are the house blank ones if you want to write your own personal favorite elected official. And if you do them tonight, I will postmark them for you.
Well, that's been Union Pacific's response.
I was gonna ask.
So if you notice here, Union Pacific has 3 tracks here. That's because they actually engaged the city and Kimley Horn in a conversation about this project. Because they said, hey, we're a stakeholder, we want to have participation. They sat down and went through and talked about what they need, different things, so they are playing ball. They will play ball. So we need to just keep this thing moving and talking about it more, and getting it on long-term plans, and then starting to get this thing happening, which includes talking to the Salt Lake Transportation, engaging in the Reconnected Communities grant that's coming. The city applied for a $3 million grant study to look at the connections between East and West. This is one of them. This is one option. I personally think it's the option because building more viaducts, I don't think is going to solve its solvent. We're not going to be able to just walk across the road. You're not going to be able to walk across underneath the freeway all the way over without being impeded. And the viaducts stop growth around them because they're freeways. Cars just speed right over them. There's a reason why we have a new traffic calming on 400 South to protect the bike. Other options are under. You're going to dig underneath the tracks. It's those type of things that, well, let's do it right the first time. Other options can be as extreme as burying the rails and the bridge, right? Those are possibilities. That's the thing the city is studying to try to figure out what is the right answer. And so we are encouraging everybody to engage with it. That's why I'm coming here right now. Engage in that study when it starts, but also engage now. Talk about this now, because I'm going up to the state on the 18th and I'm presenting this to the state. I'm presenting it to the Interim Transportation Committee. This is getting attention. This is getting people's ears perked up. There's a reason why UTA released their station a week after the county council endorsed this plan, because they reacted. There's a reason why the mayor is now pushing really heavily in the Green Loop, in my opinion. Personal opinion, I'm just gonna put that out there. Because this plan is moving forward, and this is on 500 West, which is where the Green Loop was supposed to go. You're not gonna build the Green Loop and then demolish it for this. I would say you build this with the Green Loop on top of it. Exactly, or you put it in the old rail right of way and there's no roads to stop you from biking all the way. There are a lot of options here. And that's the thing that excites me about this, because by doing one thing, burying the rails in 500 West, you get Start train station back to being a train station. You get 75 acres to play with whatever we want. Portable green space, what have you. You get a nexus of activity, a place where everybody can come. If you've ever been to Denver Union Station, I don't know if anybody has. And it is a great community gathering place. It has restaurants, it has stores, and it is a great connection area. So I've been talking a lot. It's late. Is there any other questions I can answer?
First, this might be immaterial, but I think my taxes.
So the goal from this is not taxpayer increase, because by doing.
That's your goal.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, yeah. But the company that. Remember, that's before. The federal government has $2 trillion federal infrastructure money. California just did one, just got half their project paid for. $8 billion project, $4.5 billion came from the federal government to build a tunnel of 1.5 mile tunnel through San Francisco. Ours is bigger.
And the second question I have, this is construction. You are in the Salt Lake. I think Salt Lake's gonna be 3 feet lower than where we are. So you're gonna build this. But that's, there's ways to, bring it around. That's part of the cost.
Oh, of course, that's a part of the cost. You know, the Alameda corridor down in LA has pumps pump out the water, just like City Creek has to pump all of their water. Most of our structures, most of our parking structures all have to pump water from underneath. So it is a common thing, but that's an engineering problem, not an inherent stopping problem.
Since you brought it up, has there been any thought about, city, you know, we wanna, you know, daylight these streets as best we can, you know, and have them go underneath the, blocks. I'm sorry, not like, so anyway.
It is a letter of endorsement from the South Canyons,
They're not, They have absolutely no clue.
But the reason why, City Creek, and they've been working with the city to do that. This allows for City Creek to come up to the surface.
It could be after it goes underneath the box.
You can have City Creek continue on right through here, right into that Folsom Trail park that the city's been talking about, the RDA's been talking about. But it can be a few more blocks east. It doesn't have to start at a west.
Right, but you're saying go over the top.
Anything's possible.
Well, yeah, I'm just practicing that.
The day I plan on videos, they're not having that, they're gonna build up in a
Yeah, I know.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, so this is gonna take that.
Dana, it sounds like a great idea.
I was just gonna say, they're more here than anything else. And we're not gonna figure it out unless we take it. And so I'd be happy to write a letter for the Poplar Grove Commission, but they could, that's write a letter.
If you'll send us an email, just at info@poplargroveslc.org, or just on our website, we would love to.
We would appreciate that very much. And so if anybody has any other questions, I don't know what else you have for am I the last one?
You're the last one.
So if anybody wants to write a postcard, I'm up here, and I have other things like stickers, like informational, sheets and booklets. And please come to our event on the 12th. We really like people that this community
All right. CCC. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everyone, thank you for coming to our meeting. We will see you next month.
Yeah. No.
Would you like to say anything, Daniel?
Hey, Daniel, is he asleep?
No.
I'm in Costco at Honolulu.
What the heck? So how's it going so far?
You know, you gotta eat, right?